back to another video. So in this video, we will talk about the other second method by which we can achieve the branch-to-branch communication. Now, in the first way, we said that we have advertised the default gateway. That's relevant because we have done it for the VPN 10, and the VPN 10 has the default gateway, then it is able to communicate. The other way, what I can do is that I can accept the routes for all the branches, but I can manipulate, change the TLOC to data centers. So how things are communicated, let us understand first. So if a branch 1 wants to communicate with branch 4, so that will be source IP address 10.10.201.1 wants to communicate with 10.10.204.1. So what is the route? The branch 1 says that if he wants to go to 10.10.204.1, you go to the system IP 100.0.0.101 or 102. That's what it says, the routing table. So if I go back to my routing table, so you see that by default, if I want to go anywhere except there are no routes, 204 is not in my routing table, okay? There are no routes of 204. So if I want to go to 204, where I am going? I am going to my data center 1 or data center 2. That's what we are doing right now. But we are not seeing the specific routes, right? 204, 203 and 202. We are not seeing the specific routes. So what we can do is other way, we can send the specific branch routes, but we can change the system IP, that is the TLOC. So again, how the branch 1 will communicate is that whenever it wants to reach to the 10.10.204.1, it will look into the routing table. There is no prefix, so but it has a 0.0.0 prefix which is pointing towards the data centers. So it will forward the traffic to the data center. In our next scenario, what I am going to do is that now I am going to accept the routes from the branches. That means I will have a branch 4 route in the branch 1, but the system IP will still be the same. I am seeing the specific routes. I am seeing the specific routes, but still the TLOC will be the same because I want to go to that branch 4 using the data centers only. So we are achieving the same thing. The first thing is that it's very simple, just propagating the default gateway, that's fine. We don't want to see the prefixes, but now we want to see the specific prefixes or the routes from the branches, but again, we want that communication to happen via the data center only, so we will manipulate the TLOCs. So let's see how we can do that one. So let me go to the configuration policies, go to the custom, go to the topology. We have isolating one, so we will click on edit. So now coming to the TLOC policy, there will be no change in the TLOC policy. Coming to the route policy, what I will do is that I will match the spokes. I will say action will be accept. That means I am also accepting branches prefixes, but I am going to change the TLOC. So I did not create the TLOC. Let's create the TLOC. Click on new TLOC list. And here I will say DCs for one TLOC will be 100.0.101. It will be business internet IPsec. Again, that will be MPLS and IPsec. One more I have, that is 102 business internet IPsec. Again, I do have one more 102 MPLS IPsec. So I defined both the data centers, which are both the colors using business internet, but these are the system IPs. Okay, click on save and click on select over here and save. So I will grab this one to the bottom. So I did nothing. In the first policy, I accepted the data center routes, but I have done no changes. But in the second thing, I have accepted the branch routes, but I have changed the TLOC to my data center TLOCs. That's it. Click on save and activate. It's already been applied, so we don't have to worry about going to the applying on the outbound. So you just apply it and activate it. So once that has been activated, let's see what is the change in the CLI. Okay, let me go back in to the vSmart, and I think this is the one which we created previously. I will paste it over here. I will add one more side by side, and policy has been applied. So let's go to the vSmart, show policy configuration. This is the new policy now, and let me paste it over here now, and this should be side by side. All right. So before we say the list is the same. We know there is no change, and we are accepting the prefixes. Still, there is no change. Now coming to the T-lock, we are accepting the T-lock. There is no change. Coming to the routes, we are accepting the DC routes. There is no change. But in the list, we have created a new list that is a T-lock list. That is the only addition. Next one is that you see that in the sequence after that we don't have anything. Only there is one route policy which says that data center we are accepting it. That's all. But here it says that accept the spokes routes. But once you accept this, you change the T-locks. So what will happen is that whenever we accept the policy, for example, branch 1 is accepting the policy 10.10.204.0/24 prefix. So if we say that only accept that prefix, what will happen is that it will say that next hop will be 100.0.0.204. So it will go ahead and create a direct tunnel to the branch 4. We don't want that one. We want the tunnel to be created only to the branch data center. But while communicating, we want them to communicate via the data center. They should have the specific routes in the routing table, but the T-lock should not be facing or the next hop T-lock should not be directly the branch, but they should be data center, that is 101 or 102. So let's go back to the branch 1 now. And in the branch 1, before we were seeing the T-locks, not seeing the 202, 203 and 204. Show IP routes. Now I am seeing 202, 203, 204. That's correct. But if you see that the T-locks which I am seeing is that I'm not creating a tunnel directly to the branches, but I am only creating tunnel to the data center, but I can see the specific routes, and also you can see that T-locks are the data centers simply. So achieving the same thing branch to branch communication, but manipulating the T-locks simply. We are saying that we want to accept all the branches prefixes, no doubt, but we want them to communicate via the data center. So we manipulated the T-locks for our routing table. Okay, a routing table saying that if you want to go to a specific branch, you can go, but you can go via the data center only. Same thing has been achieved, but in a different way. Alright, so now what I can do is that I can remove this default routes from the VPN 20. So let's go and remove that VPN 10 configuration templates, feature templates. Let's go to the VPN 10 and I will remove that default gateway now. IPv4 and delete it. Click on update, click on next, click on configure. It should push to both the data centers now. So now with in order to communicate with site to site, we do not require this default gateway now because we have a specific routes now. So we do have a specific routes means what is the next hop? That is our data center. So let that configuration be pushed, and after that we should not see these prefixes. Alright, that's been pushed. So let me go back, and within the VPN 10 those are gone now. Okay. Alright, so now if I say that ping VPN 10.10.10.204.1, I'm able to ping. So if I say that trace route VPN 10.10.204.1, and now you see that it's going via the data center 1. Same thing has been achieved but in a different way. The only difference is that before we send the prefixes default prefix, that does not require any specific ones, but in the second method we have provided the specific branch to branch routes, but again via the data center. So I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.